The village of Ashwood lay nestled in the heart of the whispering woods. It was a place where time seemed to stand still and the air was sweet with the scent of blooming wildflowers. The villagers lived simple lives, relying on their own two hands for every need. But one day, disaster struck when a terrible beast emerged from the depths of the forest. Its eyes glowed like embers as it ravaged through Ashwood, leaving destruction and death in its wake. Panic set in among the villagers. But amidst the chaos, there was one boy who stood out: Erindor Thorn. Erindor's father had always taught him that a simple idea can be more powerful than any grand plan or mighty sword. And so, with his quick mind and agile body, he came up with an ingenious solution to save their village from the beast. He remembered how his mother used to make candles from beeswax, which were said to have calming properties on both humans and animals. Erindor gathered a basket of freshly harvested honey and poured it into small clay pots. As night began to fall, he carefully placed these pots around the perimeter of Ashwood's village square, creating a barrier that would calm the beast. The villagers watched in awe as Erindor stood before the creature, his eyes locked on its glowing embers. Slowly but surely, the beast calmed down and eventually lay still, surrounded by the soothing scent of honey. From that day forward, Ashwood was forever changed, not just because of the terror it had faced, but also because of Erindor's remarkable ingenuity. The village of Ashwood lay nestled in the heart of the whispering woods. It was a place where time seemed to stand still and tradition held sway over innovation. For generations, the villagers lived simple lives, relying on their wits and hard work to survive. In a small clearing surrounded by towering trees, there stood an old wooden hut belonging to Thorn, a quiet boy with piercing green eyes that seemed to see right through you. The villagers whispered among themselves about Thorn's peculiar behavior, his affinity for books, the way he spent hours staring at the same spot on the forest floor as if mesmerized by something only he could see. One fateful night, a dark and malevolent force descended upon Ashwood, threatening to consume everything in its path. The villagers fled their homes, but Thorn remained behind, his eyes fixed intently on some unseen point. As they watched in horror, the darkness began to take shape, twisted, gnarled creatures that seemed to be made of shadow and smoke. Thorn's gaze never wavered as he approached the heart of the darkness. With a calm determination, he reached into his pocket and produced a small notebook filled with scribbles and sketches. The villagers had long known Thorn was an odd child, but they never suspected that this simple idea, to draw the creatures away from their homes by creating pathways for them to follow, would be the key to saving Ashwood. As he began to sketch on the forest floor, a network of glowing lines appeared, guiding the dark entities towards the edge of the woods and out into the unknown. The villagers watched in awe as Thorn's simple idea proved to be their salvation, his green eyes now shining with an otherworldly light that seemed almost divine. The village of Ashwood lay nestled in the heart of the whispering woods. It was a place where time seemed to stand still and tradition held sway over innovation. For generations, the villagers lived simple lives, relying on their collective knowledge passed down through oral traditions. In a small clearing surrounded by tall trees, there stood an old wooden hut belonging to Thorn, a quiet boy with unruly brown hair and piercing green eyes that sparkled like emeralds in sunlight. The villagers often overlooked him due to his reserved nature, but they couldn't deny the curiosity he exuded when listening intently. One fateful evening, as autumn leaves rustled beneath their feet, an eerie silence fell upon Ashwood. A dark mist crept from the woods and shrouded everything it touched. Panic set in as livestock vanished into thin air. Crops began to rot, and once sturdy homes crumbled under mysterious forces that seemed almost supernatural. Thorne's eyes gleamed with determination when he approached his family's home after hearing whispers of a possible solution. His mother had long ago taught him the art of observing nature. Thorne realized if they needed protection from an unseen threat, perhaps it lay not in magic or spells, but rather within themselves and their surroundings. He proposed that each household construct wooden barriers around their homes using sturdy branches, weaving them together to form a protective ring. The villagers scoffed at first, dismissing his idea as foolishness. However, desperation soon took hold, driving many to accept the plan.